I want to show you guys a little bit about what this control center does. This is, as you can probably tell, the original one that came in our 75 Airstream. Something I recently figured out. We just used this feature here. This is the exhaust hood. So from under here, this obviously has a fan, sucks the air, blows it out when you're cooking. So to turn that on, this just goes down. Pretty straightforward. We never really tried that until a couple weeks ago. You'll see that it empties out here. But, not scientifically speaking, but I've never measured how much battery that draws. I would make sure you have your inverter on to run that. The other thing that, one of the very, very important gauges here is your main holding tank. So this is strictly for the toilet, the black water tank. I will typically empty ours around 3/4 full because I don't want to find out what full looks like. The next one, the auxiliary holding tank. This one's going to stay at empty if you're hooked up at a campground, because all of your gray water is going to come from your sink, shower, the bathroom sink. Anything other than the toilet is going to go through this tank. But again, I leave ours open. Nothing to worry about. If you're boondocking, you have to retain that. Obviously, you'd want to watch that gauge and be very careful. The next one here, the water tank. That is your clean water for consumption. We are hooked up to a city water line, so obviously there's nothing there. Obviously, the more the better, right? Over here for battery check, as I mentioned in another video, ours does not function, yours may, but that tells you the health of the battery. And just below this, the ammeter. Ours doesn't work here also, but what that does is it gives you a readout whether you're charging the battery or discharging the battery. And then down here, this is very, very straightforward. Panel light. Turns that on. And the water pump, that's if you are not hooked up to a city water line. You would obviously need to turn that on to draw water from this tank. So you do that. We don't have any water in the tank, so it won't do anything, but that's what that would do. And also one other thing that when we were doing our renovation, we didn't know what it was. Over here, this is how you turn on the inverter. Now what that does is a couple things. If you have a battery hooked up, that will charge the battery. If you flip the switch on the back, which I'll show you in another video, that gives you power to all of your battery powered devices.